Help It! From accidental murders to the cutest kidnapping ever, we count 13 creepy game theories. Number 13. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, 5 Stages of Grief. According to this theory, Link is grieving over the loss of Navi, and each of the areas he visits are actually representations of the 5 stages of grief. Clock Town is denial. The moon is inexorably encroaching on Terminia, but the townspeople still carry on with their everyday life. Woodfall is anger. The scrubs want to blame an innocent monkey and do horrible things to it without really bothering to check the facts. Snowhead is bargaining. The Goron ghost Hermione begs Link to bring him back to life using magic. The Great Bay is depression. Mikau the Zora spends all of his time in isolation bemoaning the loss of his girlfriend and her eggs. And finally, Akana Valley's acceptance, where almost everyone in the valley is basically already dead and Link is forced to move on instead of wearing another mask to cover his emotions. Number 12. Final Fantasy VIII, Squall is dead. The theory is that when Squall falls off the tower during Disc 1, he doesn't actually survive the fall. Instead, the rest of the game for him is dreaming as he falls. It's sort of a reverse life flashing before your eyes scenario. During the latter half of Disc 1, Squall thinks over his death. He says, "Will they talk about me this way if I die too? Squall was this and that, using past tense, saying whatever they want. So this is what death is all about." At the end of the game, everything wraps up incredibly neatly, as if the whole world was planned. Not only that, but everything turns out just a little bit too perfectly. Also, there's this image that pops up for a split second during one of the cinematics. Number 11. PT, Vengeful Fetus. A guy on the internet looked at the scatterings of story that we got in PT and theorized that the fetus was actually behind it all, instead of just being a psychogenic reminder of what the main character did to his wife and baby. Well, actually, in this theory, it wasn't his baby at all, which is why he committed the murder in the first place. Since his wife was just a pretty face who was forced to work because of his alcoholism, she ended up sleeping her way up to the top and was impregnated by her boss. The theory seems pretty substantial, considering the voice came through the fetus's mouth at one point, and the fetus is the only other male character seen in the game. Unless the voice could somehow be the main character in third person, because that would completely destroy the foundation of this theory. Or maybe the fetus is just symbolism for what Konami's doing to all their properties. Number 10. Limbo, you killed your sister. This theory surmises that the boy isn't going through everything in order to save his sister, he actually killed his sister and is a twisted, sick individual. He does kill the spider in one of the worst ways possible, by pulling off all of its legs in the same way a serial killer might, and every other child in the game runs away from him anytime he gets close. Maybe the other kids were also there to stop him from reaching his sister, stop him from murdering her. Number 9. Five Nights at Freddy's, Death Row Nightmares. Five Nights at Freddy's is a game that has a seemingly endless amount of speculation attached to it. One of the speculations is that Mike, the main character, is a murderer. The theory goes on to link the game with a series of actual murders, where a murderer killed 4 employees at a Chuck E. Cheese, a restaurant that has many similarities with the restaurant where Mike works. Supposedly, each of the animatronics have a correlation with the murder victims. For example, the sole survivor survived by playing dead, which is correlated to how Golden Freddy is slumped over in the game. According to this theory, the game takes place in Mike's nightmares as he lays waiting in death row and he's forced to watch over the security cameras that led to his capture. Q fights in the comments about what the game's really about. Oh well, better that you do that than to harass the pizza place that the murder happened at asking, "Where's FNAF 5? Where's FNAF 4? When's the next game coming out?" I'd say you people should be ashamed of yourselves, but you have to have a sense of dignity to be ashamed. Number 8. Bloodborne, Menstrual Blood. So there's a lot of blood in Bloodborne, and a specific kind of blood, healing blood, is central to the game's story as well as the gameplay. Well, one fan realized that all the special blood vials in the game come from women and that the Healing Church chooses specific women as vessels for blood, to the point to where they're referred to as blood saints. Not only that, but the game puts a great importance on the moon cycle. See where this is going? All the healing blood in the game is actually menstrual blood. Hell, there's even places with menses in the name, which is one letter off from the Latin word for menstruation. Well, that and the tampon sword's kind of a dead giveaway. No, just kidding, that's not in there. At least I don't think it is. I haven't beaten the game yet. Now I'm kinda scared that a giant maxi pad monster is gonna fall from a ceiling and soak up all my blood vials. Oh god, I just thought about the regain system. Oh, and blood tinge. I really hope this theory's wrong. It'd be like if the story in Halo was just a huge metaphor for smegma. Number 7. Kirby 64, Post-Apocalyptic Holiday. There's a planet in Kirby 64 called Shiverstar, which on close observation is iced over Earth. There's even a single moon orbiting the planet, so you know it's actually Earth. In the levels, Kirby goes through various industrial and commercial areas such as factories as well as a shopping mall, but there's one thing missing from this planet: people. There's not a single human being on the entire planet, which could mean that there's no humans left in the galaxy. A new ice age, global warming, nuclear winter, or Godzilla probably killed them all off. Probably a mercy, really. I'd rather freeze to death than have Kirby land on my planet and devour me well, I don't really have that many skills to take, but he probably takes something. You'll never get the password to my Steam account. Thieving, mass murdering little pink bastard. Number 6. Portal. Weighted Corpse Cube. The companion cube is a gaming icon at this point. Everyone loves an unassuming, uncaring box with a heart on it. But is it really just a box? GLaDOS even goes as far as to tell Chell not to pay attention to it if it starts talking to her. She even calls it sentient in Portal 2, which is confirmed by the hum music that can be heard when Chell's near it. What does this mean? Well, there were a lot of people in Aperture Science before it went under. What if some of them were crammed into these boxes and kept alive for some sinister purpose? What if the cube in Portal 1 was someone special? The achievement you get for destroying it is called Fratricide, which is a name for killing one's family. Maybe the achievement name's just a joke, you know, it could just all be humor, but GLaDOS can do just about anything, so you really can't rule out the possibility that Chell may have killed one of her family members. Number 5. Pokemon War. So in Pokemon Red and Blue, you have no father and your rival is an orphan. There seems to be an overabundance of old people, children, and women in the world, and Lieutenant Surge says, "Electric Pokemon saved me during the war." Yep, Kanto went through a war, and according to this theory, your father and Blue's parents died in that war, and you're among the first people in the region to live in a post-war time. A time of peace, and forcing monsters to fight each other for money. Oh, and whatever happened to Blue's Raticate? Number 4. Animal Crossing Child Abduction. Animal Crossing starts with you, a human child, being forced onto a train, but the creepiness doesn't end there. You get a message from the mayor who says he won't be helping you, instead he'll stay back and watch you from afar. Lastly, you get forced into debt, given menial chores to do, and you start the game by living in a crappy little tent that may or may not have cockroaches. So yeah, the main character in Animal Crossing is abducted by a bunch of weirdos in animal suits and forced to work for what can only be described as a cult. Well, you know, in theory, I guess. Don't get on the train. Don't get on the train. There's no coming back. You're already dead.
Would you like to buy some new furniture?
Number 3. Final Fantasy VII. Sephiroth didn't kill Ares. When damage is done to your back, it can cause some serious problems. Sometimes that problem is death, but it can actually be worse than that. It can be total paralysis. You know, being trapped in a body that can barely do anything except maybe breathe and sorta live? You know, if you call that living anyways. Some fans of Final Fantasy notice that when Ares gets stabbed in the back, she doesn't bleed, which has led to the theory that the blade didn't hit the right places to cause her to die by bleeding, leaving her trapped in her body paralyzed. So when Cloud goes through that touching scene where he lets her go into the water, well, that doesn't sound like a very nice way to go, does it? Why didn't they just use a fucking Phoenix Down? That's always gonna bother the shit out of me. Number 2. Earthbound. Abortion. The final boss in Earthbound is an almighty evil alien hell-bent on destroying everything, so how did a bunch of kids destroy him? Well, one theory supposes that they went back in time in order to kill him at his weakest, when he was in the belly of his mother. That's right, Ness and his gang are basically the space version of Planned Parenthood. Don't believe the theory? Have a close look at the second phase. No, really look at it. It doesn't look like a baby in the womb. Not only that, but the area leading up to Gygus looks an awful lot like a stylized female organ. The kind of organ that produces babies. I'm talking about space vaginas. Number 1. Portal. Bound and Gagged. You might be thinking that a group of kids performing an abortion to save the world is as creepy as it gets, but lucky for you, we have something worse. So if you listen to the developer's commentary for Portal, you'll notice they say they wanted to design GLaDOS off an upside-down Venus. But the final product doesn't look anything like that. It looks like this. But that's not all. When Chell kills GLaDOS, she mentions being free. Also in Portal 2, you hear the dialogue where she seems to be forced into becoming an AI. So yeah, GLaDOS was forced into becoming an AI by a mad scientist, and people wonder why she lashed out and became crazy herself. But hey, that's just a theory. Never mind, wrong show. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.